Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another episode of Blind Buys. Today we're picking another scent at random. We've got 49, so without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. 24. Front to back, side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. CKOne Gold. So, I guess we are going to talk about why I have so many CKOnes today. Back in, I think it was 2007, my grandmother took me on a trip to Costa Rica because she is a lovely woman. And on that trip, I purchased a few souvenirs and whatnot. But the one thing they were hawking on the airplanes and in the airports was CKOne Summer. I believe it was 2007. I wanted it, but I didn't have enough money to buy it, so I never got it. I thought about it in the future. Looked it up on eBay, never purchased it. And then come to find out this year, CKOne Summers are basically collector's items. They're very rare. 7 is non-existent. Any of the aughts are basically non-existent. There are a couple. They're like $300. Out the top, we're going with it. There we go. But since then, I've wanted to get as many of the CKOne Summers as I can. I've bought basically all the ones that are easily available. Sorry, let's get that back in the middle. And I'm not too keen on ordering the other ones off eBay. They start at like $80, maybe in the future. But because of that, I've got a small Calvin Klein 1 style bottle going, not like the Eternities, Obsessions, or any of those ones. Just these 1 style bottles. They look nice in a little row. So I'm going to get as many of these as I can. Whether they're good or not, I highly doubt it. I like wearing, but CK Summer 2021. I actually spray on my pillows and my duvet before bed, and it just smells really nice. So this smells kind of basic, kind of, I don't know. I've never opened the original CK. 1, 2, third should do. Third shot's not hot. Fourth, no. Fifth, these atomizers are the worst. Okay, give her a second. Third, fourth. Okay. See what Fragrantica says for official notes. Tequila Gold. Fig, bergamot, and sage up top. Neroli, jasmine, violet. Vetiver, gaiac, and patchouli. So my reference for gaiac would be probably Armani Code. I don't really get that. Fig and sage, sure. It's not very potent for sure. The florals in the middle, slightly floral. Leans. So you know how Fragrantica's got female, slightly female, unisex, more male, male. It's not more female, unisex. But it's like if there was an extra midpoint there, that's kind of where I would put it. It's not bad. It's pretty nice. I can see why it didn't sell very, very well. nobody talks about this. Nobody pulls it off their shelf. It's not terrible, but I'm probably not going to wear it. Maybe it'll dry down and we'll get vetiver out of it. And at that point, I'll wear it around the house, I suppose. It'll be fine day to day, probably to go shopping. I would put it somewhere in the winter. This is more of a winter scent. I wouldn't wear this in the summer. So I hope this, I want to say musks down, but that's not the right word. I hope it gets a little deeper and a bit thicker, possibly a bit more manly. I hope it doesn't dry down towards the powdery side. But it's not bad. We'll give it a day or two. Taking a couple days off of work, we'll wear it around the house and maybe to the store or something and see what happens when we generate some body heat. Okay, guys, after a couple of days of wear, we're back. I picked this up on FragranceNet for $30.59. That works out to $8.99 an ounce. It's not really a great value, all things considered. It really did require multiple applications. I made a note here that at about 8 sprays, the sillage was okay when moving around, but not all that great when just sitting. It really did require a heavy application, but it wore off in maybe 3 or 4 hours and was generally only a skin scent at 6 to 8 hours, which you would assume for anything else that it would at least perform a little bit better. Note-wise, I would say on paper, the neroli bitter citrusiness came out a little more than it did on my skin. But when moving around, I was getting a lot of that Gaiac wood note that's reminiscent of Armani Code. I would say this smelled sort of like Armani Code, but it didn't show up to work. And last night, it had been hanging out drinking with Dylan Blue. So it sort of had that Dylan Bluey-ish creaminess, but not really too much altogether. When sprayed heavily, I did get a little bit of vetiver on my skin, but it wasn't really pronounced. It didn't last very long, and if vetiver's your thing, this isn't going to do it for you. I would say this is not a good value. Do not pick this up unless you are doing an CKOne collection like I am. I'm also an idiot. Disclaimer. That being said, it smelled nice when you could smell it. Either I went anosmic to it very quickly, or it's just a very bad performer. But like I said, when you could smell it, it smells good. It's not the worst one of the CKOnes that I've smelled, but it is the worst performer. And for that reason, I cannot recommend anybody buy this. But you do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not going to tell you you're dumb for buying anything. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Blind Buys. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care.